Hello and welcome to another episode of Thoughts Shared, Souls Bared. I am Katie.
I'm Jill.
Is there a pause? Why'd you take so long to say that?
There's a pause. It stopped like after you said I'm and it stopped. I was like,
Oh, let's try it again. Hello and welcome to another episode of Thoughts Shared, Souls Bared. I am Katie.
I'm Jill.
And today we're just going to be talking about whatever the heck we want. Okay, I need to talk about this because it is weighing on me. Not in a bad way, but
Oh, okay. What?
can you think of
This a therapy session for you, Katie?
No, but I literally started crying thinking about this a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
So when Broadway returns, when theater
Yeah.
returns, that first night back at Wicked is going to be insane because of many reasons. But two that are coming to mind and have been on my brain are the fact that the first spoken words, I guess they're not the first spoken words. First spoken words are probably look, it's Glinda. But the first words out of Glinda's mouth are, "It's good to see me, isn't it?" The cheers
I've
that are
been thinking
going
about
to
this since April.
the cheers that are going to erupt, it will probably they'll just have to hold the show. They'll have to hold the show.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then the
I've been
next words
thinking
out of
about
her
this
mouth.
literally since April. It's always on my mind.
The next words out of her mouth are, "No need to respond. That was rhetorical." Yeah, no shit, it's gonna be rhetorical. And because of course it's good to I am so considering draining my bank account so that I can be there that first night.
We should do it.
We should.
Because hey, you know how much I love Glinda. Glinda's my number one. She's my girl. She's ever since I was a kid, I'm I love this woman. I love her. And I hadn't even seen the show yet. I didn't see the show until I was 19, almost 19 years old. But I had this connection to this woman. I love Glinda.
You didn't see it until you were 19?
Mm-mm.
Did it just never tour around you?
It may have, and I just wasn't aware of it. But yeah, my dad is so funny though. Going into it, my dad was I always thought that after we saw the show, he was I thought you were 1,000% Glinda, and then I watched the show and I was maybe you're Elphaba, and I was no, I'm Glinda. Let's not go crazy. I'm still absolutely Glinda. I was my my political views are definitely more Elphaba, but I'm also very much Glinda in every way possible.
Yeah.
1,000%.
And then her last line in the show, her last spoken line is, fellow Aussians, friends, we have been through a frightening time, and there will be other times, other things that frighten us. But if you let me, I'll do my best to be Glinda the good, or something like that. But yeah, that definitely, we have been through some frightening times. It's just gonna be erupting into sobs.
I don't even okay, this I'm
It's so,
I hadn't even, and I'm
are you crying right now? I sobbed thinking about it the other day.
Oh my god. I didn't even think about that. All I thought about was that it's good to see me, isn't it?
No, it's the last.
That's a Wicked thing once a month. They should have entered my mind by now.
Her last line is, "We have been through some frightening times, and there will be other times and other things that frighten us." Oh, chills, full body chills thinking about it.
Oh my god. Okay, sidebar, really quick. Sidebar, this is the clip we need to put on social media.
Yeah.
Because everyone expects me to cry every episode at this point.
They're I'm thinking of, how the first time I saw Hamilton, I sobbed through most of it because I was so overwhelmed that I was seeing this show. Yeah. I think that the first time I see a show again, it's going to be the same way. I will be so overwhelmed.
I think that, like, and I've said this before, I think company should be what I see first just because, like, company is everything to me. And, like, it gives me that moment I said lethargic because I was so exhausted when I was talking.
Cathartic.
It was like it would be the most cathartic experience for me, but at the same time, I think it needs to be, like, Wicked or something that, like,
It's a comfort show.
brings me I think it may need to be Wicked or Moulin Rouge. I think that that's ultimately what it needs to be, and Company would be next. Like, Company absolutely would be next, but, like, I think
Come
that
From
ultimately it needs to be
Away.
Wicked or
Come From Away is
Come From
another
Away
one
would
where
be
I would just sob. I would
yeah,
sob through Come From
yeah,
Away because that's another show where they're like the one, like there's a line in Me in the Sky where she's like, the one thing I loved more than anything was used as the bomb. Like
uh-huh,
everything she loved had to stop in that moment.
yeah,
And it's such a story of community and like being a friendly neighbor and counting on your fellow human. And while I have lost a lot of like respect for a lot of people in the past year,
yeah,
there I've seeing what that some people are sacrificing everything has also been really tough. Also, somebody once said there was a TikTok, and I can't remember who it was, and I wish I could find it. They're like, these are all the points in musical theater that's gonna like make everyone like have an insane reaction. And somebody also said, um, at the beginning of Hades Town, when Hermes comes out into the
yeah, I
stage
saw that, yeah,
and he like looks
mhm,
out, he like looks to his fellow cast members and he goes, all right. And then they all go, all right. And then he like gestures to the audience and he's like, all right. And like that response back for that, like, all right, is
like
going to be just
and I know
so.
this, and, like, this was something I've gotten a lot of Moulin Rouge content in the last, like, month, which I'm thrilled about, because, like, the cast has been doing so much, like, outside of everything. So, I watched 2 separate Zoom calls. One was a Zoom webinar with, Aaron Tveit, Karen Levo, and Alex Timbers, which was so good to watch, and Karen gave me my rights because she talked about how Chandelier is the best scene in the whole show, and I was like, "She is correct." Um she didn't mention all the reasons why, but I could go on for like hours about why Chandelier is so good. And then I watched one with Ricky Rojas, San Gauja, and Aaron Tveit, and it was so good. That was the best one I watched. But in both of those, they talked about the line when Toulouse is like looking at the Duke and he's like going on like his spiel about artists and how like important they are. Like he said, and at the end of it, he says, and I, sir, am an artist and you should quake at that. That scene always like hits me every single time I hear it. It like hits me in my heart. And it was like when I saw it in Boston, that line was getting like standing ovations in Boston. And now on Broadway, it doesn't hit as hard. And I think it should. And I think that once all this comes back, it's
when
gonna start hitting it.
when Hamilton comes back, the line include women in the sequel, now that we have our first female vice president, is going to
Like
be like
amazing.
that reaction's like obviously that reaction. And I mean I've seen Hamilton 5 times.
There's gonna be a couple different.
That reaction and Immigrants We Get the Job Done, those two lines
Mhm.
literally like elicit the most insane responses regardless. But
Right.
there will be, I remember seeing so the first time I saw Hamilton was in March of 2016. And that was when everyone was like, Hillary is our, I think at that point Hillary was like had gotten the nomination from the
Mhm.
DNC. And so everyone was like hyped. Also, Hamilton hadn't, like, it was before the Tonys and it hadn't like swept, but it was this big thing, you know? And then I saw
Yeah.
it in March of 2017, which was 2 months after Donald Trump had been
Yeah.
inaugurated. And hearing that line, you know, after walking around Chicago, after seeing fucking Trump Tower, hearing that line,
Mhm.
I started sobbing at that line because it felt like,
Yeah.
you know, it was just, it didn't, it hurt at that point. And, and
Mhm.
so the idea of like even just the thought of being there that night like on Hamilton's first night back, even hell, its first month back, actually probably
Oh
forever
yeah.
now, for the next 4 years, it will
Yeah.
get such an insane reaction. And I think that's
I
beautiful.
yeah, and like um this show's not on Broadway anymore, but when I watched Bandstand when Playbill was streaming it, when I watched it with my parents, the line when Julia's like talking to Donnie and she's like, whenever she's talking about how Michael would like tell her like don't sing because you want to get the lead, sing because you just need to sing. Every time I think about that line, it hits different. Like it's hit different throughout the past year than it ever has. And like I'm not a singer. I'm not good at singing, but I do it because it makes me happy and it makes me feel good. And I've always loved performing and it just is something I enjoy. And I mean, like there are days where like I will literally get in my car and like this was like during like the beginning of COVID. I would go
Mhm.
on my daily drives for an hour, just drive around doing nothing, but like singing my heart out to like any musical I could think of that brought me any sort of joy.
Mhm.
Because it's like, what else did I have? Like I didn't have anything else to do with my life. I didn't have anything else. So it was like that line always hits different when I think about it now with the last year in view.
I um I just hit the year mark yesterday as of recording this year mark of the last time I saw a show, like a theater
Mhm.
show.
Yeah.
Yesterday marked 1 year, and it's the longest I've gone since I started going to theater, that I've gone without
Yeah.
theater. And I I'm okay, like I'm functioning fine, all
Right.
things considered. And, it does look like we're on the downswing of this whole thing. And
Yeah.
God willing, you know, fingers crossed, we don't get hit with any new sort of wild thing. But I don't want to sound like pessimistic when I say it, but like I don't truly think theater is going to return this year. I think it will return in January, next January. Um, but there's this weird thing happening, and it hasn't been like reported really, aside from this like one random website where it's like Hamilton is trying to come back for like one night
Oh yeah.
only on July 4th, which like makes sense. But everything is very much like a this could happen. We don't know. This could happen. Maybe the money will go to
But there's no
Broadway
like
Cares.
official.
No. And I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
if you're gonna leak, if Jeffrey Seller is gonna leak information, have the correct information that you're gonna leak before they write a full article. Because
And
it
also
said
have some
it
sort of
may go
a
to Broadway Cares.
it's like May go to
Yeah, and they're
Broadway.
like, it's
Like
and the tickets are gonna be like 1,000 from this article, which this is the only place I saw it mention this. It was like it's gonna be $1,000. And
like
with the money
I
going
wouldn't
to Broadway
be
Cares.
1,000% surprised.
Well, it's not like if it's a charity event, that
Yeah.
totally checks out. $1,000 per
Right.
ticket checks out for charity.
Right.
Um,
For like a gala sort of type of
Absolutely.
event or like something like that. That makes sense. Right. Right.
Yeah. And so hold on, let me see, because I have a lot of people. So I made a TikTok about this, and people have had opinions about it. So let me go into the comment section. Um,
Yeah. I read
and
some of the
it's
comments when I saw your TikTok and I didn't, but I read them when you first posted it.
So someone goes, AEA's, so Equity's safety consultant was tapped for the Biden-Harris COVID response team. If they say it's safe, it's probably safe, but it's yet to be official. And they go, my problem is the $1,000 tickets. As you said, may, but I think it's just a rumor. And it's like, this is definitely not a press release from the league or from Hamilton themselves. And it's like, yeah, the tickets may go to charity, but I think that if this were to happen, because nothing's official yet, because this whole article was
Mm,
speculation. If this were to
right.
happen, making tickets $1,000 without it going to charity is ridiculous.
That'd be kind of fucked up, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, no, it'd be ridiculous. And like, I don't know. Someone goes, I think it's weird, or it's weird to think that our Aussie production of Hamilton will get to perform before you guys get yours back. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, I've
Australia
been thinking
actually.
about that a lot because Moulin Rouge did casting and everything for the
I
Australia for the American, and I don't know, like I've had such weird feelings about it because I love that Australia is getting it because it's like Baz Luhrmann, like it was born in Australia, but
Mhm.
it's like at the same time I'm just like I miss it so much that like I'm like
Oh, I went on to
I want it back here.
I went on to Australia Ticketmaster and go, how much are these tickets? Can I buy one? I just got a passport over.
It's so cheap.
They're so cheap.
It's so cheap. They're so cheap. And I was like looking at plane tickets. My roommate thought I was nuts, but I was looking at plane tickets. I could fly out in like August for $2,000 and like sit VIP seating with like all this extra benefits. Like, did you see all the extra benefits you get for like VIP?
Mhm.
It's like nuts. It's like $1,000 worth of stuff for like $200. And I was like, I need to do this. So like, I'm
What's the
genuinely thinking
exchange
about
rate between US and AUS dollars?
it. I did. And it was like,
No, but what's the exchange rate? Do
oh,
you
I don't
know?
know.
It's like how
I don't know.
Canada is their dollar it for what's like $14 here, it's like 20 there. So like I wonder what Australia is. But then somebody goes, um uh so the whole
77 cents in US dollars is one Australian dollar.
oh, so it's cheaper than what we think.
Yep.
Okay, so it's 77 cents on the dollar. Interesting.
Katie, how do you feel about going to Australia in like August?
I should probably have a couple of vacation days racked up by then.
You want to go?
I have a passport.
I need to get one, but like, should we do it?
The first time Katie and Jill meet in person isn't it on
To
another
fly to
fucking
26 hours.
it's on another fucking continent.
Here's the thing though, is like my roommate thought I was nuts for saying, like, she was like, Jill, don't. Like, she's like, you're insane. And I texted my family about it and they all thought I was crazy. Like, my dad was like, you're nuts. And I was like, but like, hear me out for a second.
By then, by like August, we should have vaccines. We should have been able to get our vaccines.
Katie, are we going to Australia? Oh my god.
Maybe.
We
We'll see what
plan a
happens.
The can seats are $300. Can we talk about that? I paid $350 for back of the orchestra on Broadway.
Why did you pay that much for back of the orchestra?
Ticketmaster fees.
I feel like mine was not that expensive.
Mine was $270 with Ticketmaster fees. It was basically $350.
I want to say I didn't pay more than $150 before Ticketmaster fees.
Well, did you sit on the side though? I sat in the middle.
Yeah, ish, side-ish.
I sat like in the middle aisle seats. Oh, they were such good seats. I didn't get to see Satine like fully come down. I didn't get to see some of like what was going on in the boxes, but like other than that, amazing seats. Highly recommend. I think it was like row Q. I don't remember, but it was the same seats that Nicole Kidman sat in.
You said this on this podcast like days later.
I'm like, is that like my claim to fame? I sat in the same seats as Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Anyways,
my gosh. You had some weird like G Jamson experience this week, right?
A weird mental breakdown at work yesterday. So we're
Tell us
recording
about
this.
it.
We're recording this on a Saturday. So I was at work.
I almost thought it was Friday.
I have to work at the front desk on Fridays for 2 hours at my job, even though it's not my job, but they make me do it because we're understaffed right now. And it's not that big. It's 2 hours front desk. It's really not that big of a deal, but it's just inconvenient. So I was sitting at the front desk. I had like nothing to do. I'd like finished all my stuff for the day, and I had finished all my homework for the weekend. So it's like I just want to like look through a whole bunch of different things. And I knew that like I have an upcoming like assignment where I have to start planning my final paper for a class, and we just have to choose an organization and like a career within that organization to like talk about and like do research on and like stuff like that. So I was looking into Jujam Sam because like I really want to work for for Jujam Sam because it's like one of my dream jobs. Um and so I was like looking at it and I was looking on LinkedIn and then I pulled up their website and my heart dropped. Like when I tell you that like I started having like a heart palpitation seeing this, I genuinely mean that because the last time I looked on the Jujamson site was in January of last year when I was looking in their internships and stuff. And at the top of their website, when you first open it, it says like all the shows and what theaters they're in. And so it was like Mean Girls, Frozen, Book of Mormon, Moulin Rouge. And that's like one of my favorite parts of their website is that they have that. I think it's like the most fun. And
I feel like the Jew Jamson organization appeals to a younger audience through
mm-mm,
their, well, no, what I mean is like their website at least. It's more,
no,
whereas when you go onto like Nederlanders, it's more like rigid and
yeah,
structured, whereas Jujamson feels more, it feels like it has the user more in mind rather than it's
yeah,
just basic, you know?
yeah, I get that. So like I opened it up yesterday and I it took so much in me to not just start like crying. I'm not a fan of Mean Girls. I'm gonna say that I'm not a fan of Mean Girls, but it does upset me that Mean Girls had to close because I hate that it like put all these people out of jobs who are looking forward to getting back to their jobs. That bothered me. So, but when Frozen closed, it hit me really hard. And I think it's just because it was the first show to close, like officially close. Well, we knew Beetlejuice was closing. We just like I mean like it was the first one that wasn't originally supposed to close that closed.
Well,
Um
yeah, musical wise, because like
right,
Hangman
right.
and Virginia Woolf and all those.
Right. That's when I say show, I mean musical. When I say like I'm one of those people that like if I mean play, I say play. Um but and the Beetlejuice stuff hit me hard because like it just the whole reasoning behind it, everything behind the Beetlejuice stuff bothers me. But then when Frozen was announced, I had like a breakdown that whole day. Like I was not someone that you could talk to that entire day because it hurt me. Because like and I started thinking, I was like, I missed my chance to see this show with like an amazing cast. I missed like because I was gonna impulse buy tickets to see it. When I was there this summer, I saw like Moulin Rouge and Waitress, and I didn't, and I regret it. I've regretted it ever since I didn't do it. And when it closed, it like really hit me. And like that was like rough. Like I have videos. I'm pretty sure I Snapchatted Katie a video of
Yeah.
me like weeping that like it was bad. And I so when I opened up the website and the top of it only had Moulin Rouge and Book of Mormon, my heart dropped. Like I was so upset. It was so hard to see because I'm so used to it being at least 4 shows up at the top of the thing. And it was only 2. And it's like that's weird. Like it's
There's
so
three.
freaking weird. What?
There's three on the top.
There was 2 literally yesterday.
No, Moulin
Where
Rouge, Book of Mormon, and Hadestown.
Hades Town. Oh my god, I'm a fucking idiot. I knew Hades Town was up there. Oh my god. I'm used to there being 5. My bad. 5. I'm so tired. I've had like 3 hours of sleep in the last 2 days. Um, but like it's just I don't know. Like, and I talked about this in the last episode or whatever about how like gut wrenching it all is. But I mean, there's no words to fully say like how genuinely sad I am. I feel like there's no words to express that for anybody right now. But like, it's hard. Like, it's so hard, and I hate it.
It's one of those
And
things
I
that you
cry
like,
at least.
it's one of those things that I like take for granted. Like, it's the one thing that I never thought in a million years would get taken away. Is like
Mm-mm.
live
And like,
performances of any sort.
and I saw a TikTok. It was one of the casting directors on theater TikTok that I follow. I can't remember her name right off the top of my head.
Is it Kate Limpkin?
Yeah, that's who it
Lumpkin?
is. Kate Lincoln. Yeah. She posted a TikTok of her talking about how, so like pretty much everyone in her life, she calls them muggles, and I think that's so funny.
Mhm.
She said pretty much everyone in her life isn't like connected to theater in any way. And her sister like texted her out of the, or called her out of the blue the other day and was like, you know those Greatest Showman rehearsal videos? And Kate was like, yeah. And she said, I get it. Like I watched them and I get it now. And I never thought about it. Those videos always make me cry because they're just like you can feel the theater community in those rehearsal videos. Like
There's
it,
so much energy. They're having so much fun.
yes, and like, and I posted them on my Facebook. After I saw that, I immediately went to Facebook. I found the links and I posted them. And I said, I saw a TikTok from a theater casting director. She talked about how she's surrounded by people who don't understand the pain the theater community has felt the last year. But her sister watched this video and felt it. So please, if you still think the theater is being dramatic because arts aren't essential, watch this video and remember that if arts were not essential, how would you have literally any creative outlet? Music, movies, television, books, theater, etc., all art. And then I threw in the comments, I threw in the original post, I have the This Is Me video. And then in the comments, I have From Now On, because I was watching the From Now On video and that song always makes me cry because that
And
scene
we
in the
will
movie is like
come
the most,
back home.
it's
And we
such a
will
good scene in
come
the movie.
back home.
And every time I hear those lines now, it brings me to tears. Like I cannot stop weeping when I think about it. Because I'm like, it literally everything about those videos shows like the resilience of theater people. It shows like how much of a community it is and how much passion and energy the theater community has. And I've said this for so long, nobody knows passion like theater people. Like that's just like no one can do passion like theater people. And I got like a comment from one of my sister's old friends and she was like, I remember watching these videos after she got divorced like a year and a half ago. And she said that she always turned to these videos because it was like, it made her feel everything she needed to feel in 8 minutes. It was like, and I was like, literally, like, sometimes if I just want to cry for any reason, I will go and watch those videos because like Kiala Settle makes me feel every single emotion on the planet in those videos. And Hugh Jackman makes me feel these things and like just watching everyone live their best fucking lives in those roles that they were playing during that like workshop, or I think it was like a workshop or a lab.
Yeah, something like that.
And um like every time I watch them, it makes me cry because it's just it genuinely shows how important theater is for so many people, and it's just it's so good. I just love
Yeah.
it so it
I
makes
mean,
me
there's little things that I I think back on that I miss so much.
mhm.
Like things that at the time I was like, "Oh, this is a weird thing." Um like at work, because my our offices were in a theater. Whenever a show would come and load in, they would do their sound check, and their sound check would be so loud that it was like making the walls buzz,
Yeah.
and like which like with their such like heavy bass, and I'm like, god, I miss that. I remember we had like Blue Man Group come in once and it was just like so much. um
Yeah.
and that, and even little things that I was like, "Ugh, this is so annoying. I wish I could have back." Although I will say, I have this weird thing that happens to me sometimes where I'll buy a ticket to a show, and then like the whole day leading up to it, I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to go. I gotta go to a show. I gotta go to a show. But then like finally when the show starts, I'm like, oh my God, I'm at a show. And I
Yeah.
don't know why I get that like ness
I
about it.
have I talked about this in our episode with Teal. I get so anxious before a show. And I'm like, I'm not even in it. Why am I so like nervous? Like it's a nervous anxious. Like I'm constantly, and I have anxiety. So like that's also just part of it. But like I get so anxious and I'm thinking, I'm like, I think it's because I'm such a theater kid that like I know how nervous they probably are. Like going through all the things that could possibly be going wrong backstage before a show and like all this other stuff. And so like my brain automatically is like, it's gonna get canceled right before, like you're gonna be in line to enter the theater and it's gonna have to be canceled because of some reason. Like it's always some like outrageously dramatic thing in my brain.
Or when
And
like a show is supposed to start at 8 o'clock and like 8:02 happens, and you're like, what's wrong? What happened?
oh my God, it's the worst. It makes me so stressed. But like I think one of the things I miss the most, and like I'm sure this is something everyone feels, but I miss just walking into a theater. Like I just miss walking in and like seeing a set. That's what I'm
Hearing the little boop boop, and then getting the green light, opening your bag, like begrudgingly opening
running
your
to
bag
the
so they
merch
could like
running to the merch table before anyone else gets there so you can get everything you want and then go to your seat. Like that's like my favorite thing to do.
I'm like thinking about like having to like begrudgingly open your bag while they have the like wand with the camera on the end, or not the camera, the light on the
Yes.
end, so to make sure you're not carrying anything you're not supposed to.
Yeah. I was texting my friend the other day and I was like, is it weird that I missed the like the metal like detectors walking into the hotel? Like I was like, I missed the metal detectors in Moulin Rouge. Um
Oh my
I
gosh.
just I miss so many things. But like one of the things I genuinely miss the most, and I watched videos of like the first time I saw Moulin Rouge in Boston, the only time I saw it in Boston, but it was the first time I saw it was in Boston. Um I recorded my reaction walking into the theater, like seeing it all for the first
Mm-hmm.
time. And I go back to that video all the time now. And I'm like, I remember how I felt. Like I watch it and I'm like, I still feel that. Like I still understand how I felt and like I still feel how I felt in that moment. And it's just like there's nothing like it. Like there's nothing like being handed a playbill and walking into a theater. Like it's just the best energy on the
Okay.
planet.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Okay. I wonder if we can go through the theaters and then the shows that are at them and think about the moments that are just going to make everyone cry.
Yes,
Okay.
let's do it.
So Al Hirschfeld, Moulin Rouge. We've discussed this.
Yes.
Every single part.
I also think though, I think
When the lights go down and you hear like
yeah,
boom, 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 like that audience is just
the
going to be
snaps
so
get me
raucous.
anyways, but like the snaps and like the bass booming, like you feel it in the like you feel the music in the theater when it first starts.
So raucous.
It's so oh my God. Like my favorite thing, I was watching there's a for some reason somehow there's a Boston house cam like I call it a bootleg, but it's a Boston house cam like shot um thing from Moulin Rouge. And I first found it in like April or May. And I remember there was one day my parents were on a walk. They like drove like 20 or 30 minutes away to go on a walk at like this really nice park. And so my friend came over, like my neighbor, she came over and I turned it on and I like cranked it up and I was like, do you want to know what it feels like to be in the theater? Yes. And I was like, I cranked the sound up so loud and it started and she's like, you felt this. I was like, I felt this. And I was like, you have
Mhm.
no idea what it feels like. Like, ugh.
A lot of
And
people
I
are
always
talking. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say a lot of people are talking about how the first performance back, everyone's voices are gonna be in tip-top shape, and I'm like, I don't know. They're gonna have just like had to go through a million rounds of rehearsal again.
yeah, like it's gonna be, yeah. But like another thing that I do when I'm sad, so in my bed here at my apartment, I have LED lights inside of my headboard and they're always on red. They never are another color. They're always red. And when I'm sad, I turn them on and I'm like, it's like a serotonin boost. Like I feel like I'm in the Hirschfeld. And it's so like everyone thinks I'm such a nerd for doing it. And I'm like, you guys don't understand how it makes me feel. Like I turn on those lights and then I close my eyes and I like turn on the soundtrack or like the cast album or whatever. I'll turn on like the movie soundtrack sometimes because I'm like, sometimes I just want Ewan McGregor. Um, and then like I'll turn on the cast album and I'll just like cry. Like it's just like it's the best thing. I highly recommend doing it if you're a Moulin Rouge fan. It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, next up, The Ambassador, Chicago. Just that like
Oh,
boom, boom, boom. No, that's New York, New York. What am I talking about? How does that how does all that jazz like da 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 ba bum bum bum
I think how it
bum bum
starts.
bum 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 bum
I
bum
think it's
bum.
because it's like a
Yeah, it's like a dun.
Everything's Fosse. We're like, it's like that's everything that Fosse has ever done, see?
But like, yeah,
Um,
that's gonna be just hearing. I just before anybody comes out on the stage, just hearing like the first notes of the orchestra is gonna be, it's gonna be so like chill inducing. Um, the Belasco is has Girl from the North Country. I know nothing about that.
I don't
Um,
know enough about it, but I do know that I don't know, like, yeah, I don't know enough about it.
yeah. Company at the Jacobs. What's the opening number to Company, Jill?
The first thing you hear in Company is the phone.
Bobby, Bobby, baby, Bobby, Robert,
Oh,
darling, Bobby, we've been something to tell you. Just be the three of us, only the
Katie
three.
insists on like murdering me every time.
We love you.
Here's what's gonna get me. Here's what's gonna get
Oh,
me
in comes
personally.
Company because we haven't been able to been in the company of other people
It's
for
gonna
a
be
year and a half.
yes, it's gonna be that, and then like for me personally, it's gonna be the thank you for including me in your thoughts, in your lives, in your family. That's what's gonna get me. That was my birthday quote this year. That was my birthday caption
Oh
this year. It's
my
always
gosh.
Company. Everything in my mind is Company on my birthday.
And then the another 100 people, another 100 people just got off. It's a city of strangers. Some come
And
to
then
work, some to play.
the line where it's like, I just want to, I don't know if this is in the like gender bent one. I can't remember. I've read it like 3,000 times and I can't remember. But when she's like, I just want to sit at the end of a bar with a drink and cry. That's like
Me,
that
me.
line because I think back to that line. It's a he now, I guess, but like I can't remember. I can't remember if it's in the gentleman one or not. But that's such an iconic line. I don't know why they would ever take it out. But like every time I think about that line, I'm like,
Me.
oh my god, I relate. Like I feel this. Oh my god. Like I don't want anyone to talk to me. I just want to have a nice drink.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever sat at the end of a bar and cried?
I turned 21 2 weeks before a pandemic shut down the country, Katie. No, I
Oh,
haven't done it.
oh, I have, but it was in the airport, and it was because Kobe died.
I feel like that's like the best way to do those in an airport bar.
Yeah, I was going through it that day. I was like leaving New
So
York.
that was
Kobe
I
had just
remember
died, and I was terrified to get on a plane.
I know
Um,
I remember you were like texting me in like a frenzy, like you were losing
and
it.
my phone was like dying that day too. It was wild.
Yeah.
I had like the best morning too, and then that happened, and I was just like gutted.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next. The Broadhurst, Jagged Little Pill.
I don't know enough about Jagged. You talk about this one.
I feel like it's gonna be really good for some people because like a lot like Alana's fans are gonna be very excited because her music's
Here's the
iconic.
thing. Here's the thing about Alanis Morissette. This is something funny. So any Bob's Burgers fans out there. So the new Bob's Burgers, like not spin-off, but like creators show The Great North. It's so funny, so good. The music in it is amazing as they always are. They're amazing at writing songs. The Great North, Alanis Morissette is in The Great North as herself. She like so one of the characters, she's like a teenage girl and she like goes out on her outside of her window every night and like sits on like the roof and she looks up in the sky and like Alanis Morissette is like in the constellations and she like talks to her and it's amazing. It's like so
Wait, where can we
good.
watch the show?
It's on Hulu every day after it airs. So it's on Fox Sunday nights at like 10, I think, because Bob's Burgers is 9:30.
Mm.
Highly recommend. So good.
Okay, and then the Broadway West Side Story.
I don't want to discuss West
What's
Side Story. Can we move?
yeah, we can move on. That's fine.
I love West Side
Okay,
Story. I don't like this production, so we're not going to talk
all
about
right.
it.
So the Brooks Atkinson 6. When you hear that first divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded,
That's
survived,
gonna be sexy
everyone's gonna be
as
like,
hell.
survived. Everyone's gonna be like, hell yeah, we survived this motherfucker.
We survived it. We did
Yeah.
it.
Circle in the Square, American Buffalo. Is that still happening? We don't know.
We don't know.
Darren Chris, do you still have a job?
Darren Chris, let us know. Sam Rockwell, let us know.
The Gene O'Neill Book of Mormon. That doorbell, hello, is going to just be like chill inducing. Oh my
That's
God.
gonna be good.
It's gonna be like,
That's gonna be
hello, and everyone's just gonna be like, hello. um, the Gerald Schoenfeld, Come From Away. It's just gonna be
Katie, take it away. Take it away.
the first thing that you hear in Come From Away is like a boom, boom. I was trying to like do this for my dad the other day, and he was like, "Do all musicals start the same with a boom, boom, boom?" And I was like,
He
"Maybe."
has a point. He
Mhm.
may have a point.
But it's like boom, boom, boom. On the northeast tip of North America, on an island called Newfoundland, there's an airport. It used to be one of the biggest airports in the world, and next to the
I
airport is a
love
town
Katie's love
called
for Come From
Gander.
Away.
I fucking
That's
Come From
so
Away. I've seen Come From Away 6 times. I love this
love it.
show so much. I've always been like, oh, I don't have a favorite show. Come From Away is my favorite show. Like, let's get real. It is such a beautiful show. And then there's gonna be songs where it's like, um, oh my God. Like there's a prayer song in it, and I need to look up my phone really quick and
My
just
favorite thing is like when people ask me what my favorite musical is, sometimes I'll lie
Mhm.
because like if it's a non-theater person, I'll lie. Like if a guy on Hinge like asks me what my favorite musical is, I'm like, oh, West Side Story, because it's like my third favorite, so it's like not a
Mhm.
complete lie.
But it's one
But
that
I'm
people
not
will
gonna say Company,
know.
right? Like I'll like if it's someone who like has shown an interest in theater, maybe I'll like say like Company, but like that's rare. But my top three is Company, Assassins, West Side Story in that order. So speaking of
Yeah.
Assassins, there's gonna be a original cast reunion
Exciting.
like next
So
week. I'm so
there's a song called Lead Us Out of the Night in um
oh shit.
Come
Yeah.
From Away.
Sorry, I didn't
Then
know so that was really embarrassing.
yeah, and then I Am Here, where and just like a prayer song. Honestly, all of these are gonna be so oh, the song Something's Missing is gonna be wild. I always cry. There's a part in the show, and it's in what? Hold on. Oh, so it's in the song called Somewhere in the hold on. It's called Somewhere in, Jesus, why does Apple Music not tell me what the full name of the song is? Somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Okay, whatever. Somewhere in the middle of nowhere, I guess. I don't know. There's a song where um they're like so I'm passing a hat and we're starting a scholarship for the people who gave up their time and they gave up their town. So let's pass the hat round. I just started with the first time I saw it, I started sobbing at that part. And I don't know why. It just makes me so like emotional. Yeah. Anyway, All Have
Yeah.
Come From Away makes me emotional. I'll cry for 70 of the 100
I
minutes.
will say I'm gonna say this because I said like I don't want to discuss West Side Story. The main reason I don't want to discuss it isn't because of like my disdain for the new production of it. It's because it's so different from West Side Story that is West Side Story. I don't know how to talk about it. Like I don't know what is still in it because they took out so many things that make
They
me
turned it
happy.
into a one act show,
They turned
which
it
is
into an
wow.
hour and 15-minute musical.
Which is weird. Also, like I'm okay with like changing some things. Okay, so like I've never seen any version of Oklahoma aside from Sexy Oklahoma. Um
Yeah.
and I know they made that like
Oklahoma
dark.
that fucks. Well,
Yeah, the wait, what? What did you
the
say?
Oklahoma that fucks. Oklahoma that
Oh
fucks. Have you
yeah.
not heard that?
Oh, I heard
I was gonna say that's what the
Fox.
people called it.
And I was like, "No, his name is
Oh,
Fish." I was like, "No, his name is Daniel Fish, not Fox." I I thought you were mixing up the animals of a last name.
oh my god.
Um, uh, so I've only seen that part, and I know that they like made it like they changed it up a lot, and I'm okay with doing like a dark take on it.
Yeah.
It does concern me a little, and obviously I don't know how it works because I never saw it, but
Mhm.
I am very intrigued by how it works in the usage of screens and video recording. Like that makes me
I'm
I'm intrigued by it.
what I know, um sorry, it makes me mad like talking about because I love West Side Story so much. It's like built my entire life. Um So what I know is a lot of people that have seen it, like it's had very mixed reviews from audience members. A lot of people that love West Side Story and love Sondheim and love theater don't like it because they're like it's distracting. It's like it steals focus from the like point of the show almost. And it like there's just a lot of issues with it. But then I've heard like people say that they like it because they feel like they're at like a concert. And I'm like, that's not what West Side Story is supposed to feel like.
Well,
Like,
I mean, that's
that's just
subjective.
not the case. Right. But at the same time, West Side Story is like, I just feel like they, okay. So what I know of what they took away, because I'm not going to say what they added to it because they didn't add much, they took away a lot of things.
Yeah, they took away stuff.
Um, a lot of female driven things. Um, but a lot of the stuff that they took away is stuff that kind of holds up the structure of the plot, like kind of holds up the structure of the characters and like
They
their
took away,
development and like
yeah, it's not like I don't how did they take away I Feel Pretty? Like
that's one of the most
That's
iconic songs in the
Maria.
show.
True. Well, not only is it iconic, but I think it's integral to the show because it's her talking with the people who work in the dress shop with her and saying like I'm so excited about this part of my life, this new blossoming part of my life, and I
It's
like
a
for the
huge
first time in my life I
character
feel
growth.
pretty
Yeah.
because this person is making me feel all of these new things. Like I feel like I'm finally exploring this new part of myself.
Yeah.
So I'm very in like how do you portray that side of Maria without that song?
Well, and like, and from what I've heard from like, I don't know a lot of people that saw it. I know some people like that I've like interacted with, like that are acquaintances that saw it. So like they're not like friends of mine, but they're people I know of. Um, I've talked to them about it, and they're people that I know aren't like the biggest West Side Story fans, but they're also big fans of like keeping the structure of a show the way it's supposed to be and keeping, you know, the important stuff in a show that holds true to like hold steady with the show. And I've heard that this new production is like very much like it doesn't do that. And it hurts me because as I've mentioned many times, West Side Story has been there for me my entire life. West Side Story is a huge part of why I am the way I am. And I don't like when they first announced that there was gonna be a West Side Story revival, I was so excited. Like I could not wait for it. And then they started announcing more and more details, and it was like the less and less excited I got for it. And
Whose
then
production is this? Like who's the
like
director?
director
Do we know
Ivo Van
or
Hoek,
do you know? Oh,
Ivo
interesting.
he's like notorious for doing like it's almost like his works are like like they're like performance art pieces, not like in the theater sense but in like the like traditional art sense, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like something that should be in like a museum.
It's like performance
Performance,
art.
yeah. And so it's like, and that's from what I've seen of like other stuff that he's done, like from what I've looked into, that's almost like what his like style is. And like that's fine, but like please leave Sondheim alone.
Okay, I very much part of me my first initial reaction when there's something like this that happens is no, we can't do that. Like save that for off Broadway. Save your weird stuff for off Broadway. But
I
at the
think
same
that
time
this
I'm
would
like,
work off Broadway, if I'm being honest with you. I think this would work better off Broadway.
well, a part of me is like it because it feels very off Broadway. But then
Yeah.
I also do really like the idea of not being so precious with Broadway, you know, having weird shit happen, like having weird productions, and usually those productions come from off Broadway or out of towns. Like that's how we got Deaf West Spring. Not that Deaf West Spring Awakening is weird, but it's like it's something that never would have been considered had it not happened and been successful in another place. Or Sexy Oklahoma or Great Comet, like these weird and non-commercialized versions. I so desperately want. I don't think we should hold like Broadway is obviously going to forever be,
Yeah.
or at least for the foreseeable future, forever be the like gold standard, quote unquote gold standard. But it also has been so commercialized that everything is a safe choice, and it becomes like, well, we have to do something that appeals to a wider audience so we can sell out these theaters night after night after night. But I like the idea of not being precious with these works or not being precious with Broadway, because I think
Right.
artists should be able to put their weird stuff on a bigger stage.
And I agree with that, but it's like when you change the show almost entirely from what it is, that's like a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
And like, and it's just like, I'm sorry, but you can't turn a 3-hour show into an hour and 15 minutes and it be the same thing. That's just not,
Fair.
that can't be the case. And I do think that West Side Story could be more modernized. I'm all for modernizing West Side Story because it still holds true today. A lot of the stuff that happens in West Side Story still is happening today. Like the police brutality, the like immigration stuff, like all of that still holds true today. I think that that is something that we can absolutely modernize and still make it relatable for people in 2020, 2021. But that's not what they did. Like, it's honestly, it doesn't feel like that's what they did. It feels like they did, but then they took out all the women and made it like all about the men. And it's like, yeah, West Side Story is predominantly about the men, but it's about the women who are like constantly being smarter than them and being like, what the fuck are you doing? You're insane. Like I'm
Yeah.
just like, that's what bothers me about it. Like I'm all for like, like revamping shows. I'm all for it. But it's like when you take away the show entirely and make it something that's not, then that's where I start to get upset about it. That's when it starts to bother me. Not to
Yeah.
mention the casting issue I have with it,
Yeah.
and that a lot of people have with it. But especially when there's a sexual assault in the show and then you cast a sexual predator in the cat, like that's, I'm sorry, but that should not have happened. That's fucked up.
No, yeah. Agreed. The next is the Gershwin Wicked. We've already talked about this.
Yeah.
Both the
It
first
made
and
me
last
cry.
the first and last lines out of Glinda's mouth. But I'm trying to think, are there any other parts in that show that are just gonna elicit sobs?
I think there's going to be some parts like with the political stuff in the show. I think that that could hit different.
Yeah.
I think that that's something that absolutely will.
Yeah. The haze has take me out. I can't wait to go to a baseball game one day, God willing.
I was just talking about that yesterday. I was like, baseball season's coming up. I'm so
The
excited, but
Dodger the Dodgers have their first preseason spring training game uh tomorrow. Very excited.
I like, it made me laugh though. I was like thinking about it earlier because I was going through all my clothes and like getting rid of stuff and like getting ready to like start revamping for like spring summer wardrobe. And like I was moving like all my winter clothes into my closet and putting all my nicer spring clothes because it's starting to get warmer onto my clothing rack that I have in my room. And I was like, I'm so excited I get to put all my Yankee stuff on my clothing rack because baseball season's coming up and I can wear it more often.
So then at the Hudson is going to be Plaza Suite. And I think it's going to be such a cute thing because it's going to be starring Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew
I'm excited
Broderick.
about it.
And
I'm
okay,
excited.
I have to say this.
Yeah.
I think that it works in a COVID time. I know nothing about Plaza Suite, but like having your two leads be a married couple, like you don't really have to worry about like cross
Yeah.
contamination if they
Yeah.
are a married couple.
I need to buy Plaza Suite because I haven't read it before. Like I don't know anything about it.
I feel
And I
like
was
I'd
gonna
like
buy it.
it.
I think I would,
It's
based on like what I've read about it. I think I
also
would
it's
like
Neil
it.
Simon. I love Neil Simon.
Oh yeah, but like I think I'm gonna do that tonight. Actually, after this, I'm gonna go and order it. 'Cause it's probably like $10. Most
um
plays are whatever.
Imperial Theater, Ain't You Proud? Um I've
Oh,
seen it. I can't think of any parts that would elicit like a giant reaction. I mean,
I
obviously
think it's supposed
hearing
to be
those
like
songs. Well, there are okay, just kidding, because there is a whole part about the civil rights movement. That's gonna be a big thing when that comes
yeah.
back. That's gonna be really interesting to see
I'm very
in this
excited to
new
see
lens.
I'm absolutely gonna see it because I wasn't like holding off seeing it. I like nothing like that. Like I wanted to. It was just like I never got a chance to. So like I'm
Mhm.
excited to like because I love like I'm all for it. Like I'm a huge
Yeah.
fan of
The
all of
John
that. Whatever.
Golden. John Golden, Thoughts of a Colored Man. I do not know.
That's brand new. Marquee just went up like 2 days ago.
Exciting.
So
But
excited.
obviously, neither of us have seen it, so we can't think of anything that would
So
elicit a response.
haven't been
Um,
able to. It's brand new.
Longacre has Diana.
Mm,
Diana, okay, so I feel
this
weird.
is based on Katie saw it in the
I saw it,
pre-Broadway.
yeah, I saw it when it was doing its out of town tryout in La Jolla almost 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. And the first act definitely needed work. Second
Which
act
is
I
what an
thought
out of
was,
town Broadway
yeah,
is for.
exactly. First act
Yeah.
needed work. Second act was strong, definitely stronger than I expected after that first act. Um,
Mhm.
I think so. Like the finale song is the song that they did during that night of Broadway, where she's
Yes.
like, "I'll have a child or two or three" or whatever she says. And I
Yeah.
think that's going to be a song that's going to make a lot of people like hopeful. It's going to make people be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I can actually start like hoping for a future after this like we've just gone through this like terrible experience, I can now move on, hopefully."
Mhm.
I mean, obviously we know she wasn't able to.
Yeah.
Rip rip.
I'm so excited for Diana to be streaming. I'm so excited to see Diana.
Oh,
My mom and I,
I want
whenever
a release date.
whenever they first like announced that Diana was moving to Broadway, I like immediately like I remember I was like I think I was in a class when I got like the tweet and I immediately sent it to my mom and I said we have to go. And she's like, "Oh my god, yes we do." Because my mom has always been my biggest supporter in my love for the royal family and my like obsession for the royal family. And like I remember when William and Kate got married, I remember laying on her bed like at like watching them walk out of the church because she like pulled me out of bed and she's like, "Come on, come watch it." And I was like, "Yeah." I'm so excited because I love Kate and I was so excited. And so like she let me like lay on her bed while she was getting ready and like I was watching it. And I woke everyone in my house up for Harry and Meghan's wedding. It was 4
Harry
a.m.
and Meghan, I like had
Everyone up.
just I had like just gotten home. Fun fact, I had
Yeah.
just gotten home from a Taylor Swift concert.
Iconic.
It was her Reputation tour at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. And we had
Yeah.
just gotten home. I just gotten home and I was like, "Oh, I can watch this now." And it was like just in time.
Yeah. My favorite thing is like my dad hated me for waking him up because like I didn't even mean to wake him up. I had like 1,000 alarms set so I'd wake up for it because I like watching all the pre stuff. Like I like watching everything. And so like I had all my alarms set for like the pre stuff and I was like, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna start a pot of coffee. I was like, we're gonna vibe, we're gonna watch this wedding. And so I got out of bed and then I was like, Mommy, Mommy, wake up. I was like, we gotta watch the wedding. And she was like, okay. And she got out of bed and I started making coffee for us. And then like 20 minutes later, my dad walks in. He's like, why am I awake right now? And I was like, I don't know. You can go to bed. Like, I was like, no one's forcing you to be in here right now. And he was like, no, whatever. I'm already up. And I was like, what? Then don't complain about this. I was like, what the hell? And then he was mad because I took the TV for like 4 hours to watch like all this stuff. And he's like, I was trying to watch the news. I was like, then go to your room and watch the news. I'm watching a wedding. Please relax. Like, I was like, this is important. This is monumental historical shit right here. I am watching it. And so my mom and I were just like, my mom thought it was the funniest thing, and I was just like crying for like 5 hours straight.
Apparently my uncle had gone to England like 2 weeks after Diana died, and like he saw like all of the
Yeah.
memorials and stuff because she was the people's princess.
And it's like, and I saw a TikTok that was like, someone was like, I just like, the one thing keeping me going is I want to see how the Brits react when like Queen Elizabeth dies. And like someone stitched or whatever. And it wasn't a British person that stitched it, but it was someone stitched it. And they were like, do you not understand like how genuinely like gut wrenching that is?
Yeah, somebody said, but not only gut wrenching because she's the longest reigning monarch like ever,
Yeah.
but how much money her death is going to cost, because the mint has to shut down. They have to immediately start printing stuff with Charles's face on it.
Yep.
Should he still be living, because she is still kicking it.
I'm pretty sure, I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's going to go straight to William, but that's just me. I have a theory.
He's been waiting his entire life.
My theory, but here's the thing.
What's your theory?
I think, okay, this may take a minute, but I'm going to, trust me, trust the process. So everyone always asks me, they're like, because I know so much about the royal family, because I've spent so much of my life learning about the royal family. When a few years ago, I guess it was just like a year and a half or 2 years ago, my aunt, she asked me, she was like, so like, what do you think, like, what's like, or not what do you think, but like, what, like, who's next in line technically? I was like, technically it's Charles. However, I don't think he's gonna be king. I'm sorry, but like, hate to say this, if any like British people out there want to correct me on this, because I'm like, I may be completely unaware of something and I just like maybe stupid and just talking out of my ass right now, but I think that what could happen, because like obviously he can pass it down, he can like decline it,
he can abdicate.
Yeah, so it's I think that there's a chance that he could do that, because I think that if he gets to a point where his mother dies, he's not going to be able to like, I think he's getting way too old to start a reign. I think that, I say if Elizabeth dies because
you mean if?
It's like, I don't say when Harrison Ford's gonna die, I say if, because I don't want to go to that place. I don't want to think about it. I've already had to deal with Christopher Plummer, and that was, Katie knows, I went through.
That was a rough one.
I went through it. So like, I like saying if about people that I love and adore. So like, if Elizabeth were to die, I think that at that point, Charles will be unable to, not just like physically, but I don't think that he will be mentally inept to handle it. So I think that it will end up being passed down to William, who also, it's not even just that Charles is gonna be too old. It's like, he's out of touch. Like, I'm sorry, but Charles is an asshole who's very out of touch with everything. But I think William is definitely more in touch with what needs to happen.
And people love Kate. They want Kate to be queen because Camilla won't be queen. They probably wouldn't allow Camilla to be queen.
Camilla is a snake and a greedy little bitch. I said what I said.
Okay. I don't think they'd allow her to be queen. They'd be like, he'd be a princess. Yeah, she would.
No, well, she would technically be a princess anyways. She wouldn't, not necessarily.
They would, well, because in the patriarchal society we live in, men are above women, so therefore there is allowed to be a king and a queen, but there's not allowed to be a queen blood-wise. That's why Prince Philip is prince. Whereas the queen's mother, it was a king and queen.
That's true. And I will say this, though.
Kate will be queen.
That's true. All this to say, though, I will say this. All the nice things I've said about William, I hate William.
You're a Harry girl?
I I used to be obsessed with William, like growing up. Most of my life, I was like obsessed with William. I thought he was like the best thing there ever was. And now I'm a Harry girl because I'm like, William's kind of the worst person. Like, not even just like the pretty basic stuff. It's like, I'm sorry, but you saw what your mother went through and you're still gonna cheat on your wife. Doesn't sit well with me, William. And also like all the racist shit that has been bespoken.
I'm not sure how much of that like I trust, because I know the British media is garbage.
Yeah, I will say
so
that.
I don't know how much of everything I trust.
I
mean,
do
that's why
agree with
Harry
that.
left. He literally, like, in that, he was just doing an interview with James Corden. He's like, I saw how toxic the British media is, and I said, I'm not gonna. He's like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna subject my wife and child to that.
And that's the thing is, and he's also he knows how bad it can get. Look at what happened to his mother. He knows
but it's not
how
like
bad
William
it can
really
get.
has that much of a choice. I mean, obviously he has a choice, but then it immediately will get passed on to the next person.
Right.
You know,
and
you think like after I think it'd be wild if like after Queen Elizabeth dies, they just say no more monarchy.
No,
it's pointless anyway.
Yeah,
Monarchy
but I
is
don't
pointless.
I don't think that's gonna happen though. It's a part of like the culture of it all though. Like,
yeah, but
it's a part of the culture of England.
Not logical.
Well, no, but I don't know.
Anyway,
it is what it is. What if it just ends up getting like, what if Elizabeth dies and then George is just handed a crown?
The boy prince, the boy king.
I love George. He's so stinking cute. I love all the little kids. They're so cute. I want to squish them all. They're the best. George in his robe meeting Obama, I was like, that's the height of luxury.
Like, full pajamas robe. It's like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of this like American Girl doll little like catalogs, and it's just like, hi. Like, it's
and they're like in a robe and they're like,
yeah, exactly.
As a doll.
That's what it is.
That picture will always be like my favorite thing that's ever happened. I love that photo.
Next is the Lunt-Fontanne Tina.
Ooh, Tina. Like, I like listened to it and like I know it. I've never seen it, so I don't know like
there's more. There's more like definitely again, like Ain't Too Proud, there's some parts that talk about the civil rights movement. I think that's going to be an issue, well, not an issue, but like that's going to be elicit a response.
Yeah, and I think that like with both Ain't Too Proud and Tina, I think that just the fact that it's like Black stories, like I think that like that alone is like gonna spark something in people now more than ever, I guess. But I mean, that's always why haven't we always done it? But you know,
that's Broadway for you.
For everybody, I guess. Whatever.
Lyric, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I'm just gonna be it's just gonna be so nice to see magic, because like that's one of the last shows I saw before lockdown. I saw it in San Francisco. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not a story that needed to be told, but it definitely was very interesting to watch.
That's like every new Harry Potter thing that comes out, that's how everyone feels. They're like, we don't need to do this. Let's not do this.
Harry Potter, I don't think you definitely need to know character, like the basic characters. You need to know like Harry and Ron and Hermione and Ginny and Dumbledore and Snape, and that's about it. And Umbridge.
One of my favorite like personality traits, I say it's a personality trait, my friends don't agree, but I think it is that I know nothing about Harry Potter. Like, I haven't read the books, I haven't seen any of the movies, I don't know anything about it. And
yeah, that's not a personality trait.
I think it is, because do you know why? Because Harry Potter fans think it's a personality trait that they do know everything about Harry Potter. So I think it's a personality trait that I don't know anything about Harry Potter.
Hard to disagree.
Harry Potter fans stress me out. I'm gonna say that. That's where I'm gonna leave that.
I'm a casual fan. I read all the books once. I've seen the movies. You know, I mean, I saw the movies based on the original book series. I haven't watched any of the like Fantastic Beasts or
I saw
any of
the
that.
first Fantastic Beasts, but like I fell asleep, so I
I
don't.
haven't seen any bit of any of them. So like, yeah, I'm a very
When
casual
I'm
fan.
sorry, but when Colin Farrell turned into Johnny Depp, I almost walked out of the theater. I was pissed.
I have no idea what you're even talking about.
Yeah, you've seen the movie, you would know that it's like, yeah,
My dad
that's
was
the one
talking
thing I
about
know about Harry Potter.
last night. My dad was talking about saving Mr. Banks, but he kept calling, like, almost calling it Mr. Popper's Penguins. I don't know why. He's like the Mr.
I
Penguins,
love saving
the
Mr.
Banks,
Banks.
the Travers. He's like that movie. I'm like, oh, you mean Saving Mr. Banks? He goes, yeah, that one. And he goes, I didn't like that movie. And I'm like, he goes, it was too much about. It was. He's like, I thought it. He thought it was going to be more about the making of the movie Mary Poppins than
Mm,
it was about her. And I
I
was
mean, it
talking,
kind
and I was saying, I was like, oh, you mean? I was like, oh, so you didn't love Colin Farrell? And he's like, in some things I like him. And he goes, you don't love those bushy eyebrows? You don't love those brows?
I love saving Mr. Banks because I just like it. It makes me feel every emotion, and I think that that's like
I love that they
it's
filmed
like
it
when you
at
have a movie.
Disneyland.
Yes, like whenever you have like a movie or like a music or something that makes you feel every emotion, I think that that's like important. I love stuff like that.
At one point in that movie, the mom is like, I'm gonna go end it. I'm gonna go walk into the lake. And then the
It's
daughter
so
saves
like
her. It's like so traumatic.
that movie is like it's so good. That but the sad thing is all that stuff is true. Like all that stuff happened,
Yeah.
and it's like when you watch it, like you're trying to wrap your head around that. And it's like
Yeah.
Jesus, but
Emma
it's
Thompson is
a beautiful.
fantastic in that movie.
Yes, she
So is Tom
is, and
Hanks.
Tom Hanks as well, Disney art.
But let's talk about BJ Novak and Jason. God, what's his name? No, what's his name?
I know who you're talking about. I don't
Oh my
remember
God,
his name.
Jason Schwartzman as
Yes,
as the as the
composer
brothers. What are their names?
people. Yeah, I
Sherman
can't remember.
brothers. The Sherman brothers.
That feels right. Yep.
It
I
is right.
that movie is just like, and I think that one of my favorite parts of the movie is in the end whenever she's watching Mary Poppins. She's just like feeling everything. It makes me cry every time I watch it because it's so good. I love that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Majestic Theater, Phantom of the Opera. I think those like first like those iconic notes that like brr, brr,
Did you notice
brr,
my reaction
brr.
when you
Yes, I
said
did see your
this?
reaction. Look, Phantom of the Opera. Okay, here's my theory though. Phantom of the
Yeah.
Opera, Wicked, Lion King, Hamilton, Chicago. Those are going to be the first 5 shows to open. It's not
I
like we're
think
going
so.
to it's not like we're going to flip a switch and all of Broadway will come back on the same night. Not going to happen. Those 5 shows will probably come back within a couple weeks of each other. And those are the first 5 shows because A, they will always sell tickets. B, they're staples of New York City at this
They're
point.
like tourist shows. They are
Yeah, they will
like,
bring in an audience.
yeah,
And yeah, so like that's why those are the 5 shows that will come back first.
I agree.
Um, okay, and speaking of the Minskoff Lion King, that first like na da dun da is
That's
gonna
gonna be
be
good.
everyone's
That's
gonna
gonna be
cry. And
good.
also the song is called fucking Circle of Life.
I know. That's
It's
gonna be good. That's
it's
gonna be really beautiful. I don't even like Lion King. I think that's gonna be really beautiful.
I've never seen the Lion King show.
I've seen the show. So fun fact. This is like one of my favorite things on the planet that's ever happened to me. When we were at Disney when I was a young tot, I can't remember, not like that young. I was like almost like I was like 7 years old, I think. We were in Animal Kingdom, and I don't remember what the situation was. It wasn't just like a Lion King show at Animal Kingdom. We saw the whole musical. And I could be
That's
imagining this, and we actually just saw a tour somewhere. And this is just how I remember it because
there's
my
no
brain.
way. I can't think that the fact that
Or
Disney would
or what happened was it was touring in Orlando or near Orlando, and my mom took us. Either way, it was on that trip that I saw it. And I don't remember a single
That's
bit of
probably
it.
it.
I don't remember a single bit of it, but I do remember like just jamming because the music in Lion King is so good.
Elton
Like it
John.
hits.
It's Elton John.
King.
Elton John did
King.
Elton John did for Lion King what Phil Collins did for Tarzan. Did not need to go that hard, but did it. Did it for
Phil
us.
Collins.
Also,
Mm.
the wild thing about Tarzan is like that's a show or that's a movie where none of the characters sing. And so it's not like those were written for characters to sing. Like he just still went
No, they were
hard for
and
just a soundtrack.
so Tarzan is in my top 5 favorite Disney movies ever. Like I
It's
watched
great.
it religiously growing up, and like I have fond memories of that soundtrack. That and Lilo and Stitch's soundtrack. Oh
Oh, Lilo and Stitch
my,
goes hard.
that Lilo and Stitch sound. Oh my god, it's so good. Lilo and Stitch is also in my top 5. It's like number 3. It's right. It's like it's so funny because like when I rank my favorite Disney movies, they're all pretty much equal with each other. I just rank them so it's easier for people. But it's literally Hercules, Cinderella, Lilo and Stitch, Tarzan, um, Monsters Inc. I don't know why Monsters Inc. I just always loved it. It's just always made me very, very happy.
I saw this thing on Twitter. I think I might actually still have it up. I'll send it to you. Oh, maybe I don't. Okay, yeah, I don't have it up. But it was like it showed an LA freeway interchange and it was like had that screaming boo like thing where she's like "Ah," and then behind like a wheel in a car. It's like, I know that
I
feeling.
love that. That's so good.
Next up, Music Box, Dear Evan Hansen. I think that whole show just like
Waving through a window is gonna
waving through.
hit different.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I just realized.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? Fuck it. You're right. That opening number? No, that's not the opening
Waving through a
number.
window is like everyone's pandemic anthem.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Whoa.
even think about that before. Oh my god.
um,
Oh no.
Niederlander, the Lehman trilogy. Don't know that.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a play, so I can't think
Right.
of anything. Neil Simon, MJ, the musical hasn't opened. Also, Michael Jackson. Did we need this? I don't think so. New Amsterdam, Aladdin. When the genie just comes out and starts like introducing that, it's gonna
Okay.
be. He's like the riffs he'll be able to make.
I think A Whole New World also.
Oh yes.
Uh,
Proud of Your
I
Boy,
want to watch Aladdin.
or just Proud of Your Boy. Proud
Oh,
of Your
Proud of Your
Boy.
Boy is like one of my faves. Oh my god, it's so good.
Oh yeah.
I love a Disney power ballad. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
An Alan Menken power ballad, if we're being honest.
Yeah, Alan Menken is amazing.
Right, some of the best.
I wonder if the Palace Theater will be done by the time Broadway opens to have a show in there.
Maybe.
They just want to shake up all the ghosts in there. The Richard Rodgers Hamilton we talked about at the top. Include women in the sequel. Just that first like dun 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 dun. That's gonna be screams.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
Friedman, Lackawanna Blues, the Schubert To Kill a Mockingbird. That's just gonna be like cries, cries, cries all the time.
Really emotional.
Sondheim, Mrs. Doubtfire. Don't know that show yet.
Yeah, I was like, I can't think of anything from even the movie that would make me like.
Exactly. Make me
I think with that
emotional.
one, it's just like when you first hear the music, I think that's just gonna be what that one is.
Yeah, the nostalgia of it.
Yeah,
is gonna be wild. Studio 54, Carolina Change. I don't know Carolina Change that well. In fact, I don't know it at all.
I want to know it because I've been told I would like it. So like I want to look into it more and I want to like dive into it a little bit more. So I think I'm gonna do that in the next month or so.
Yeah,
I might order that and read that. Like I always have like a running list of like plays and musicals that I need to buy so I can read.
Yeah. Vivian Beaumont, Flying Over Sunset. Nobody knows anything about that because it's an original musical, which I'm so excited about.
I just wanna. Here's what's gonna make me emotional. It's just Tony Yazbeck dancing.
Yes.
Always. Tony Aspect doing
Carmen
anything.
Cusack.
Ah, ah, yes.
It's Tony
Yes.
Aspect, Carmen Cusack. Who's the other guy that's in it? Oh, Harry Hayden Patton.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
The
could
Walter.
watch Tony Aspect tap dance for days on end and never be sick of it ever.
Yeah.
I love. He's magic. Like he's absolute magic.
Yeah. The Walter Kerr, Hadestown. Definitely the all right, all right, all right, all right. That one's gonna be
I
a big
think
one.
Why We Built the Wall is gonna be interesting.
Oh, it's gonna be real
More
interesting.
so than it ever was.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting.
Or there's the song where is it the wedding song where it's like where he's like it where he's talking about writing this song and then he plays it and then like the spring starts to bloom and she's like, and even so it can
I
do
haven't seen it.
this.
I've just listened to it. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
And it's like, and even like it isn't, he's like, it isn't finished yet. She goes, and even so it can do this. Like the power of music and the power of the arts. Or even the song, even the line that has, they've kind of been their tagline this entire time has been spring will come again.
yeah.
And when I sing it, spring will come again. Spring will come again.
Okay.
Like that's gonna be a big one.
Yeah.
Or even the song they sing at the during the curtain call. What is the name of that song? Where it's a very mellow song, and it's sung by Persephone.
Hadestown is one of those musicals that like I love listening to, and I'm in like a
We
mood
Raise
where
Our
I just need.
Cups.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when you just need to be like calmed.
Yeah, I just need to like relax. Like it's very, very calming to listen to. Even like the very aggressive songs are still very like relaxing.
The Winter Garden, Music Man. I think just watching Hugh Jackman's gonna make people sob.
Watching Hugh Jackman do anything makes me cry. So yeah.
I don't know the Music Man that well, so I can't speak on it.
I know the Music Man pretty well. I've seen it like a few times, like regional theater, and I've seen movies and whatever. I don't have an opinion on the new one. It kind of makes me angry a little bit, but I'm happy Hugh Jackman's part of it. I'll say that. I'm glad it's
Hugh Jackman, the man who just wants to sing and dance. The
I
world
love
wants
it.
him to be Wolverine.
The only opinion I have in the Music Man that is positive is I am very glad that Hugh Jackman is Harold Hill. I like him. And I like that idea. I like that.
Do you know who I think would be a good replacement for him should they ever replace him?
Ooh.
Neil Patrick Harris.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that.
Or Gavin Creel.
Gavin. You know how much I love Gavin Creel. He's everything to me. Yeah. He's my whole heart and soul.
I love him so much. Me
He did
too.
There's that pop-up thing happening in New York, starting this week or whatever. And Gavin was doing it. Gavin was one of the people in it today. And my friend Abby, shout out to Abby. I shout her out like every episode she comes up. She like sent me, they like went live on Instagram and she sent it to me and she screen recorded it because Gavin was on it. I was like,
is this the same thing that like, so I was watching the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert, but his house band is led by John Baptiste. I always put a P in there and I don't know why. And it's led by John. It's Batiste, I think. John Baptiste.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And he was talking about how he and his band were doing like a pop. I don't know if it'd be considered a pop-up performance, but they were talking about like how they were starting to try to get the arts back into New York, but
that's what it is.
They were doing it at like a vaccine center. Like they were doing it, I think, at like the Javits Center.
Oh.
I think.
So maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. I'm out of the loop on a lot of things. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not in New York, so I'm trying not.
I'm like all my friends that like see stuff that they send me content that like caters to my likes and what I want, and they send that to me, and that's all I know about it. Like, that's it.
Yeah,
I'll tell you this though.
BATIST.
Speaking of things that like I need content of. So I was going through Facebook. I briefly mentioned this earlier, but I was going through Facebook and I saw I think it was Broadway World posted about the Assassins like original original cast reunion or whatever. And the photo, which one would assume the photo would be a photo of like the Assassins production, like the original production of Assassins. But it was a photo of Stephen Sondheim. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I didn't read anything that it said. I had a heart attack because I thought something happened to Stephen Sondheim.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a literal heart attack because I was like,
You can't do that to us.
you can't do that shit to us. You can't ever, especially to me. I live and breathe Stephen Sondheim. I can't have that happen ever. No. I'm sorry. But like my dad made a joke after Christopher Plummer's death. He was like, if Harrison Ford ever dies, you're going to have to come and permanently live with us. You're not going to be able to survive it. And he goes, you know what? Stephen Sondheim, either of them die. He's like, you can't survive that. You're just going to have to come permanently live with us forever. And I was like, you know what? You may be right.
Okay, so I found an article. It said New York's pop-up concerts kick off with a jazz geez, why can't I read? New York's pop-up concerts kick off with why do I keep adding a? Kick off with jazz at a vaccination site. The musician John Baptiste led a band through the Javits Center to begin half a year of unannounced performances throughout the state. So yeah, so it is part of that thing that we were talking about. I like John Baptiste. Okay. He seems great. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's so just like chill.
Yeah.
I love watching him and Colbert. Yeah, I love watching him and Colbert interact.
I love watching Colbert.
I have the biggest crush on Stephen Colbert.
Same.
Find me a Stephen Colbert that's around like a 25, 26. Find me somebody between the ages of 24 to 30 who is like Stephen Colbert. And I will immediately Stephen Colbert. Yeah, but Stephen Colbert is happily married to his wife, Eddie.
I know what I'm saying. Don't find me. I don't want him because I don't want to be a homewrecker. But like, I'm fine with the age that he is. So if you find me a man that's very, very much like Stephen Colbert and the same age is fine with me. I don't care. I'm not.
Find me someone 25 to 30.
Come on.
Find me someone 24 to 30 that is Stephen Colbert in literally all aspects.
Oh my God, I love it.
We'll be a match made in heaven. Mm-hmm. All right, let's wrap this up. Jill, where can people find us?
Let's wrap this mother up. Am I right?
Let's wrap this mother up. It's time to wrap this mother up.
I watched Cheers for like a week and a half ago with my roommate. We were vibing. Okay. On Instagram and TikTok, we are at Thoughts Shared Podcast. I almost said our other podcast. At Thoughts Shared Podcast. And I am at It's Jill Hayes on all social media platforms.
And if you want to follow me, hi, I'm Katie. You can follow me on TikTok at Katiefornia or on Instagram at Complete Katie. All right, we'll talk to y'all next week. Goodbye.
Bye.